The Biden administration is constructing migrant camps in the national parks. We who relish or cherish the national parks are often admonished that we are ruinous to them, but now we're resettling migrants on National Park Service land.
It's like Idiocracy meets Escape from New York, isn't it? It's just the most absurd country in the world right now.
This is according to House Natural Resources Committee Chairman Bruce Westerman, a Republican from Arizona. The Biden administration did not honor Westerman's request to send an administration official to discuss the policy, to Westerman's disappointment. Congress has a duty to conduct oversight, and this committee will not tolerate seeing Biden's bad policy destroy one of America's best ideas. Isn't that what Ken Burns called the national park system, one of America's best ideas? And don't they all love Ken Burns? He's a comfortable lefty, isn't he? Mm-hmm. He managed to make the park documentary all about race. It was still wonderful, but there's not a topic you can bring up that he won't turn into race.
Right.
In any event.
Please.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah.
More than 100,000 migrants have arrived in New York City since the spring of 2022, according to Westerman. The city is so overwhelmed with migrants that Democrat Mayor Eric Adams recently claimed that the Biden administration's current immigration policies will destroy the city. They are eating their own, aren't they?
Yes,
they're all eating their own. The city's own policies transformed it into a magnet for migration, despite the city's inability to handle it. New York identifies as a sanctuary city. Well, of course it does. And refuses to cooperate with federal agencies in identifying and removing illegal aliens, even those with prior felony convictions. I will ask again, what the hell do you people want? Are you not going to be happy until this country is completely destroyed? New York has a right to shelter law, which requires all persons, regardless of their legal status, to be provided with shelter and food paid for by the city. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Just in one day, 2,000 migrants crossed into Texas by early afternoon. 1,500 more expected. The staggering number of migrants prompted the administration's plan to construct housing in Floyd Bennett Field in the National Park Service's Gateway National Recreation Area. The city has entered into lease agreements with the NPS to permit the construction of the migrant encampment where area residents have long escaped to kayak and fish. Westerman recently joined Breitbart News Saturday to discuss his opposition to the administration's plan and the ability of officials to answer questions surrounding the security of the facilities. He advocated in that interview the passage of a House Republican spending vehicle to fund increased border security and keep the government open. The administration is circumventing, get this, the administration is circumventing the environmental regulations to expedite the construction, a concession rarely afforded to American citizens seeking housing.
Oh, I see. So that law only applies to us.
There's a picture of the new construction going up on Randall Island in New York. So we're expediting that construction.
Sure.
But God forbid you have a puddle in your backyard. It'll be called a wetland and you won't be able to build a porch.
Right.
The border crisis, and that is a crisis. The climate is not a crisis. The border is a crisis. Words mean something.
Right.
The border crisis has shown no signs of abating, and Westerman is alarmed by the damage that could result from the precedent if this policy is extended to additional national parks throughout the nation. He warned American citizens that President Biden's failing border policies are coming to a park near you. I believe we have audio from whom? From who?
This is from Alabama State Senator Katie Boyd Britt.
And it concerns the border.
It does. And GLers, I'm going to warn you, it's disturbing, but I think it's necessary. And I think every citizen of this country should hear this audio.
firsthand if this woman didn't know that I needed to see it immediately upon entering the United States Senate. I followed up with a trip with John Cornyn because they care. These people down there, Senator Blackburn would talk to them. She knew them. We walked through and we got to hear women tell us their story. And their stories are brutalizing. And to Senator Cruz's point, if you're not telling it, that's on you. Because when a woman sits there and she tells you not just about being raped, but how many times a day she's raped, when she tells you about having to lay in that bed while they come in and out and in and out, it's disgusting and it's despicable. Folks, you look at the number of people that have died at the border because Joe Biden has made it more and more enticing to come here. Make no mistake, this is a result of failed policies. We could fix this. We can't throw money at this and fix it. We have to actually change the policies. I looked in the eyes of CBP agents who said we're exhausted. We're not only having to be paper pushers, we're also trying to do what we took an oath of office to do, and that is protect this border. But when they tell you about finding small children who have drowned in that river or pulling a lifeless body of a woman who is pregnant with twins, it changes the way you think about what's happening. Drug cartels, guys, they have their tentacles all over this country. We need you to start telling that story. To Senator Cruz's point, they will tell you exactly how much they paid to get here. Then they'll tell you where they're going, what their job's going to be, and how much more they owe. Got it? And guess what? Just the other day in Alabama, a gentleman told me, if you will come back here with me in this neighborhood right behind you, you will see migrants who are here illegally, and they will tell you about the drug cartels coming around every other week to collect. Guys, that's not the American dream. That's an American nightmare.
What the hell do you people want?
If
You
you
Mysterians, what the hell do you want?
if you want to know why we're seeing the number of homeless encampments rise in
It's
all
drug
of these
use.
larger cities, it's directly linked to drug use and open borders and people's addiction problems. All of this is all the result of the same problem. And it's so obvious. But too many people are in denial when it comes to things like that.
What's not obvious is the final goal. What is the goal with these policies? What are they trying to do? What are they trying to accomplish?
The cynical view would be they're just recruiting voters to keep them in power.
It'd be hard to argue.
I don't know how to answer it other than
The
that.
other problem too,
But-
and we've seen, sorry, Kenny, the other problem that I have with things like this is, even though you have such overwhelming evidence to suggest that this policy is wrong, it doesn't matter if it's a climate initiative, if it's a border initiative, it doesn't matter. The refusal to change course because you're just going to dig your heels in and refuse to admit you're wrong, that is such a freaking problem right now. You're unwilling to admit, oh yeah, this was probably a bad idea. Whether it's COVID, it doesn't matter. You're just going to stay with it because of conviction, and that's stupid.
Joe, in theory, illegal or undocumented immigrants are not allowed to vote, in theory.
No, I know. It's a hell of a theory.